Hello, my dear fellow friends, photographers, and travelers around the world. Welcome back to Chris Lee Travel Channel. Indeed, for the past 4 weeks, I was busy in some other thing else, so unable to upload any travel logs. And today is the beginning of my new series of my travels to a Southeast Asia country of the name Vietnam. Now, Vietnam was just a long and slim country which quite a long coastal area and also have undergone many wars, particularly the most recent one, the Vietnam War. And today I'm bringing you to this beautiful country with the aim of sharing with you some of the beautiful side of this country. Let's look at the map in front of you, and what you see now, what we're going to cover in this episode and the next two episodes will be basically center on the central regions of Vietnam. It's almost near to the middle of the Vietnams, as can be seen in this map. And you look at the distance away. Now, Vietnam have three main cities, most populated main city, which having the one at Hanoi at the north, and we also have the Saigon at the south, which also now named the Ho Chi Minh City, and at the center is where the Da Nang is located. And the distance apart is almost close to 600 kilometers approximately, right? And therefore, Da Nang is strategically located right at the middle section of this beautiful nation, Vietnam. And we will cover the central region, and of course, there's an international airport at Da Nang, so therefore, our journey will start off with Da Nang, and then we will then explore the beautiful little town at the south, which actually of the name Hoi An, and then also the surrounding area. Then we move off north, bypass Da Nang, all the way to another beautiful town and an ancient city of the name Hue. So these will be the three main places that we're going to share with you from today onwards. To begin with, let's move on to Da Nang, right? And let's have a look of what is Da Nang have to offer. Now, Da Nang has developed from a small port town into an impressive metropolis of modern urban design. Now, the bridges of the Da Nang are of a central part of the city, world's famous architecture, and have become an iconic landmark of the city. The Da Han River that runs through the heart of the city with various striking bridges attaching the coastal region of the city within the bustling business district. Now, Da Nang has since evolved to become the globalized metropolis we know today as a city of bridges. Now, these bridges of Da Nang not only contribute to the city industrial developments, but also enable the city to establish itself as a world-renowned tourist hub. Many people that travel to Da Nang with the aim to view the bridges scattered over the 7 kilometers around the city. So now today in my travelogues, I'm going to share with you two of the beautiful bridges, of which one of them during our visit, as my journey was embarked to this part of this country in the year January 2013, which is approximately 9 years ago. And at the time, the bridge, the so-called the Dragon Bridge, the one you can see the mark number 3 on this map, is still completed, but the dragon ship, the dragon's item is yet to be constructed, and that is where managed to only complete in the year 2014. It's 1 year after we left Da Nang. And also we will bring you to bridge number 2, which also known as the Han River's Swing Bridges, and is of course will make known very popular to the world for one simple reason: is the first bridge built by the Vietnamese, by their own engineer, and also by their own workers. So now you can see just from this map on the slide itself, as it sees list 6 bridges that spanning across the Han River. Of course, our focus today will be more on bridge number 2, which was there and completed while my visit, and while number 3 is still under construction, so not much information to be shared. But at the same time, I'm going to share with you around the bank of this river, as between this bridge number 2 and number 3, and it was between the area circled in blue on this map. Now, from the fire so-called breathing dragon bridge, which bridge number 3, to the viral phenomenon of the Golden Hand Bridge, which is not in the Da Nang city but on the outskirts of the city, the bridge design of the Da Nang truly set it apart from the other city. Now, the city is also the proud home to the iconic Han River Bridge, which I mentioned to you, the bridge number 2 on this map, and Tai Lai Bridge, the bridge number 4, and also the Nguyen Wan Troy Bridge, which I'm not sure which is it on the map, sorry, can't share with you, and the recent completed Tuan Pon Bridge. Altogether, you can see that I've listed the 6 bridges while sharing with you on this journey to Vietnam. Now, each bridge can tell a story of the culture and history of the city. Now, in order to truly appreciate just feats of engineering, understanding of the history and the surrounding area of each bridge is very useful. So therefore, the bridges of Da Nang are no doubt a must-see, and the city of the bridges truly live up to its names. However, traces of the ruinous history of the city are still found in all corners of Da Nang. Now, the city itself is brimming with other charms, from the tranquil Ling Yun Pagoda to the dramatic Marble Mountain nearby, which I will be sharing with you later on. So let's move on to more closer. The map here will give you a clear view of the bridges. Of course, bridge number 2 and 3 are the most iconic and most attractive, particularly at night. So this is just some of the city view of Da Nang city, and this picture was captured while on my return home on the plains, and you can see that the Da Nang is quite a populated metropolis, and you can see that how dense it is. In fact, in the whole Vietnam itself, this three main city, as I mentioned just now, the Hanoi, right, and Saigon as well as Da Nang are the 3 most populous city of the Vietnam. Sorry. So this is the scene of the Han River of Da Nang 9 years ago. And this is along the band of this riverbank of Han River. Now, strolling along the bank of Han River is a favorite thing to do for the locals, right? Not only for exercise but also for getting refreshed. Now, waterfronts are lovely, clean, and desire to wander along. Right? It representing a new Vietnam is emerging. So, for recommendation, on the left bank of the Han River, where the name is called Bac Dang Riverfront, right? This is the old city bank. It was best for the first timer visiting the Da Nang it stretches from the Han River Harbor to the Trantile Bridge. I mean, from bridge number 1 to bridge number 4, and the busiest portion is between the Han River Bridge, bridge number 2, and the Dragon Bridge number 3. Now, because of its spacious paved area, a breathing atmosphere, and is lined with many carved marble animal figures of statues, trees, and flowers, from here the two neon-lighted bridges are just within view distance, with a nice background for photography. So next to the riverbank, separated by a strait, on the other side of the strait is the long boulevards, where top bars, rooftop bar, and pubs are located. An awesome place to in town to get a cocktail drink and socializing with friends. So these are images of the paved riverbank, and you can see that at night this area will be crowded with the local. So this image was abstracted from the internet, because at the time while our visit is still under construction, the bridge was completed by the dragon figure was not there, but from here you can see that this dragon bridge, when lighted up at night, is so amazing and so beautiful. I have to thanks and giving credit to the photographer who have captured this image. And I also mentioned just now that there's another very popular bridges that bridge that must visit during your visit to Vietnam is this so-called Golden Hand Bridge. Right, it's outskirts of Da Nang, and also become a very popular tourist spot for those visiting the central Vietnam. Now, a piece of latest news. The latest on the latest city updates, the southern section between the Dragon Bridge number 3 and the Trantile Bridge number 4, and a newly designed parks and promenades are going to be the next pedestrian draw. Snack, drink, and souvenir store will be there soon. In other words, these governments of Vietnam are heavily publicizing the tourism to Da Nang. And this is the only bridges that when we were there that been beautiful light up. It's called the Han River Swing Bridge. And let have some background of this Han River Swing Bridge. It's considered as a symbol of the great pride of the Da Nang. The bridge is first of its kind in Vietnam. Is the first swing bridge designed and constructed by the Vietnamese engineer and workers. Now, the 11-span bridge is of 487.7 meter long and 12.9 meter wide, connecting the Hai Chu district and Son Tra district. Now, an iconic connection between the Da Nang business hubs and the coastal regions. Is no wonder that it is the pride of the city today. And these bridges play a vital role in connecting Liu Dan Strait and the Phang Van Dong Strait. In addition, it is a tourist attraction as the bridge is designed to swing on its axis. Right? Now you see that the lighter part is where the axis is located. Thus, this creating a space for boat to pass each side of the river into the port city of Da Nang. So these are some of the images captured of this Han River Swing Bridge at night. And I did spend some time strolling on this riverbank at night, and these are the street scene, beautifully neon light light up the street along the riverbank. And before I end on the tour to this area, just to highlight to you on the Dragon Bridge, the bridge number 3, is an imperious 660-meter long bridge comprises of a golden fire-breathing dragon crossing the Han River. Now, built to commemorate the occupation of Da Nang Port by the North Vietnamese, with the dragon symbolizing power and prosperity. Now, this bridge connects the bustling street of the Tran Hao Do and the Bach Dang through the 6-lane roadway. Now, the bridge is also a vital component of Da Nang infrastructures. And for many, this is one of the defining entry point into the Da Nang city, with the bridge formerly known as Chao Rong, spanning about 100 years old, right? Spanning from the 100 years Charm Museum. Now, it provides the quickest passage from the airport to the Mai Khe Beach nearby, which is on the eastern side of Da Nang city. So, just for informations, right, on every Saturday and Sunday, that these golden dragons will then erupt with fire from 9 p.m. onwards. Therefore, if we want to see the magnificent performance of this beautiful light of dragon bridge, please be there during the weekend at 9 p.m. onwards. So also just to touch a bit, that this dragon bridge I mentioned just now been praised to be the world's 30th most unique bridges that's recently constructed. And of course, the dragon bridge have became the new icon for the Han River's bridges in Da Nang after it was completed in the year 2014, a year after my visit. So now we are moving on to this Da Nang Museum of Charm sculpture. This Da Nang Museum of Charm sculpture is a highlight of the Han River waterfront, just nearby, very close to bridge number 2, and was established in 1919 by the French archaeologists to preserve the intricate works of the art of Champa kingdoms, which ruled the land from the 2nd to 14th century. Now, this museum was the oldest in Da Nang, which also formerly known as Torrent Net. Over a century, it has been preserving more than 2,000 artifacts that are brought from the Champa kingdom remains across the central regions. Now, a fourth of them are exhibited, including many national treasures inscribed by the Prime Minister. Now, it has become the city's largest museum and the leading one in the country. So now, this museum also have quite a beautiful greenery compound, as it can be seen from the image here. The museum main room focus on the Trico with the 10th century capital's Maysan sanctuary from 3rd to 14th century Holy Lands, and also the Hindu sanctuary of the whole kingdoms for about 1,300 years. So if we don't have much time to discover these Holy Lands and all this sanctuary around, then which basically have been inscribed into a UNESCO World Heritage Site, then a tour around this museum will allow a visitor a better understanding of the art, religions, culture, history, and the talent of the charm. Now, to enter the museum, you need to purchase entry tickets, and the museum opening time is from 7 a.m. till 5 p.m. daily. So these are some of the sculptures that can display in the main hall. Now it's important to note that the Champa kingdom have lasted for nearly 1,300 years. It's quite a long kingdoms in the history of Vietnam. And at the same time, after the Champa kingdoms, of course, then come to rule by the Chinese and the Han, and then before that, then after that, then was ruled by the Western nations. So you can see some of the displays have a very high traditions and of the Han influence of the Han culture, the Chinese culture. The next one I'm going to bring to you is My Son Sanctuary. The My Son Sanctuary, or some people like to call it My Son Holy Land, was the religious and political capital of Champa Kingdom from the 4th to 15th century, located in a rainforest and situated inside the 2-kilometer wide valley of Quang Nam's province. Now, the amazing complex of the My Son Sanctuary exhibits a series of impressive tower temples, which is marketed as the Angkor Wat of the Vietnams, exemplifying the height of the charm, architecture's achievements. And the My Son Sanctuary is a large complex of religious monuments, originally consisting of more than 70 structures, and today only 25 the vestiges remain today. Right? So what I'm going to share with you will be the remaining of this sanctuary. So the location of My Son, you can see that is on the south western side of the Da Nang city, and this is the entrance, the bridge, the enter leading to this My Son Sanctuary, and is a UNESCO World Cultural Heritage Site. As you can see, the signboards that display on the left of this image. So once you're inside this sanctuary, what you're going to explore and see is all these old structure, right? Religious monuments. Quite a fair bit of walkings, and please ensure that you have a nice pair of walking shoe. Avoid visiting Vietnam or My Son during the rainy season. I will share with you later on the weather of Vietnam. A bit of the background of the Champa kingdom. The Cham people actually belong to an ethnic groups in the Southeast Asia. They form the core of the Muslim community in both Cambodia and Vietnam. And Cham is a remnant of the Champa kingdoms, closely related to the Malay race. During the 4th to the 15th century, this unique Cham culture, with only spiritual origin to the Indian Hinduism, developed on the coast of contemporary central Vietnam. So you can see quite a fair bit of similarity with the Hinduisms. And our tour took about half a day, and of course including enjoy a cultural show in this sanctuary. Now, a trip to My Son Sanctuary is certainly a highlight to your tour when visiting Da Nang and or Hoi An. In order to avoid extreme heat, you should come to visit in the early morning. Now, visit the museum to find English wall poster that explain the history of My Son Holy Land before entering the other sites. Now, or else you need a tour guide to tell you about this sanctuary. And don't forget to watch the weather forecast before going into this sanctuary, and bring some essential items like hat, water, or sport shoe with you while you visit, because there isn't any shelters in the sanctuary. The next one I'm going to share with you is a place they name it Marble Mountain at the north of the Da Nang city. Now, Marble Mountain is located in Gu Han Son district, about 20 km north of Hoi An. Dominates the plain like a landscape along with the coastal routes between Hoi An and Da Nang, and jetting up dramatically from the flat surrounding. It is a small group of 5 mountains. In 1825, right, that the few centuries after the decline of the Champa kingdom, the Vietnamese king, the King Mya Mang, the second king of Guyan dynasty, named the mountain the Gu Han Son. They are translated as a mountain of 5 elements, which mean the kim, the meadows, the wood, where actually the mu, the wood, alright, and sui, the waters, the for, the fire, as well as the tu, the earth. Quite similar pronunciation with the Chinese language. And the Marble Mountain is quite alluring with numerous tunnels and also cave entrances. During the French colonial periods, French geologists realized that the mountain were comprises of marble and renamed them as the Marble Mountain, and is used till today. So the Marble Mountain is shown here. A slight error is that actually the Marble Mountain is on the south of the Da Nang, but on the north of Hoi An. My apology of this slight mistake on that. And this is actually the tourist map of the Marble Mountains of Da Nang. And you can see the elevator, there's a star there. In fact, to ascend to the top of the Marble Mountains, it's best that you take the elevator with a small fees to be paid. This is the aerial view of these Marble Mountains. And this is actually the elevators, marbles that we took to ascend to the top of the Marble Mountains. Now these mountains, it basically is they have quite a fair number of peaks, but in a cluster. This mountain sheer porous is a limestones. It's punctured by caves and tunnels. And this cave network and tunnel been recognized by the Cham as holy places. Thus, they are fitted with particular Buddhist and also Hindu shrine. Of the 5 mountains, only the Mount Te is so accessible to the tourists. It has the highest summit and a stunning panoramic views of the coast of Da Nang. And the other Marble Mountains, right, you are basically you are inaccessible. So what the image I share with you now, it basically is the images taken at the highest part of this Marble Mountain that's open to tourists. Now the site offer visitors some activity to do, such as climbing the mountain of water, visiting the Tam Tai Pagoda, which we will share with you later on, and observe down the numerous holes into the cave palace. Till today, Marble Mountains continue to lure visitors, and it becomes a famous destination in Da Nang. And therefore, it's important to note that these mountains were a spiritual destination for both the Vietnamese as well as the Buddhists. So over the years, Buddhist follower constructed the sanctuary that you see today. So this is the pagoda which I have mentioned just now. And these are some of the caves. You can see there are Buddhist statue, Buddha statue inside. And this is the largest one of the few that we have visited. Some of the tunnels that we passed through. Many caves, you can find many small caves around. And the Mana Mountains site and the surrounding region is famous for stone making, stone sculptures and stone cutting craft. Right? As you get closer to the Marble Mountain, you'll be greeted with score of magnificent marble carving of lions, Buddha, and other statues along the way. And of course, you will find many shops that are selling all these marble sculpture, as can be seen in this image. The next part I'm going to share with you is the Hai Wan Pass. Now, in the middle of the country of Vietnam, or more or less right at the center that dividing the North Vietnam and South Vietnam, Hai Wan Pass is a protrusion of the Annam Range jetting out into the Pacific Oceans. It's the most spectacular and the most famous mountain passes in Trans-Vietnam routes. The route over is a 20-kilometer length or long, featuring a nearly vertical mountain slopes on one side and deep valley on the other side. Now, this feature provide much scenic outlook along the right, on the way, and which also that draw tourists. Now, the hairpin band, the hidden temples, and the ancient ruins are all other interesting items that it can be found along the routes. Now, Hai Wan means the ocean and crowd in Vietnamese. Is named by Lai Tam Thong, the king, in the 1470 when he traveled to the south to capture Champa Kingdom capital. Remember, the Champa Kingdom capital is at the south of Da Nang city. Now, previously, the local people always call this pass Ai Wan, or the Cloud Pass, while in colonial time the French soldier nicknamed it the route without joys. Top of the Hai Wan Pass, Vietnam, is around 495 meters above sea level. That means the higher point is about half a kilometer above. There, the entire Da Nang base and the Long Co Peninsula can be observed, right? And given it's a strategic location for the military, that Vietnamese, the French and the Americans army in turn constructed protective building in it. Is now the remains are still visible. As I say that, remember during the Vietnam War between the North Vietnam and South Vietnam, and the border between this North and South Vietnam is at these locations, and therefore they in order to cross over from the north to the south, you have to cross through this Hai Wan Pass, and therefore the American soldiers would then build their fortress there, build their bunker there to prevent the intrusions of the North Vietnamese army. Of course, now this country have reunited no longer have north and south, and now a whole nation of the name Vietnam. So let's see some of these images. Now this is a map showing where the Hai Wan Pass is located, and this is even a more clearer view. You can see that is at the location whereby the land projecting into the Pacific Oceans. Right. And it's also another UNESCO cultural heritage site, this Hai Wan Pass. And you can see some of this banker, right? You can see this is a banker and gate that built on almost at the summit point of this Hai Wan Pass. And this is the Hai Wan Pass gate. And at the viewpoint, at the highest, not almost the nearest the summit, but at this point, at where the bunker is located, you can see, you can view over this Da Nang base, as can be seen in this image. As we descending down toward the north, toward the Hui, that you can see the bridges, right? The beautiful bridges along the way. So for photographers, right, the pass is a very beautiful place to capture image. Now for the local is the border between the Da Nang and Hui. Now instead of crossing by road only formally, today there are two other choices for passenger, that's by train and also by tunnels. During our visit, one of the tunnel was constructed, and later on the second tunnel also constructed. So now if you are travel from the Da Nang to Hui itself, you may no longer need to travel past this right across this Hai Wan Pass, Hai Wan Pass. Instead, you can just direct cut through beneath it using the two tunnels. Share a bit on the Hai Wan Gate and bunker, right? Now it's located at about 500 meters, right? And this where the Hai Wan Gate I shown to you just now is actually a couple of gates instead of one. Alright, you may think that it's only one, actually there are quite a number of gates. And these gates are built in 1826 under the request of the Ming Mang kings. Right? These brick structures are the last remains of the fortress which protect the Hui citadel from the southmost enemies. Remember, the Hui city, which I share with you in my third episode, is actually an imperial city. And therefore, in order to protect from the invasion from the south, they built these gates at this Hai Wan Pass. So these are the beach at the Long Wan Beach, one of the longer beach, and because of fronting the oceans and also subject to monsoon and also typhoon during the summer months. So during our visit, some of the building roof was blown off because we visit after the monsoon typhoons visited the place, so that we found that some of the buildings are still under repair. And the ocean is very rough, as unsafe for swimmer. You can see from the wave, the strong wave. So these are the location where the beach is located, as I share with you. And at the same time, in the subsequent images, I will sharing with you along the way when I travel from this Hai Wan Pass all the way to Hui City along the coastal roads. And this image will share with you the countryside scenery at this section of Vietnam. So this is the end of what I'm going to share with you today. And of course, the image I share with you today is taken 9 years old. It's in the year 2013 in the month of January. And therefore, it's important to note that when you visit to Vietnam itself, you have to take note of the weather and avoiding visiting during the raining season. And because is although it's very warm in summer and wet, and it's much cooler during the autumn and winter time. Although there's no winter in Vietnam's, from the months of the October onward till the month of January, still a very much recommended period for visiting because of its cooler climates. Alright, so therefore, this is my little piece of advice for those who intend to visit the this part of the Vietnam's uh, uh, during the to avoid the extreme heat and also to avoid the wet seasons. So thanks you very much for staying until this hour, and you have not been subscribed to my channel. Please do so, and please help me and give me a like as well as share to your friend and family so that they can be like you, travel virtually around the world. Uh, and lastly, I would like to share with you that in my next episode, I will sharing with you this beautiful country town, Hue An. And friendly of my visit to this central Vietnam, I feel my feeling is that it's worth putting a few nights of stay, get yourself relaxed and soak into the beautiful atmosphere of this village town, a small little town, a very charming, beautiful town of Hue An, which I'm sharing with you in my second episode next week. And hope to see you again. And bye. Right.